A very bright, cheerful, and pleasant good morning to all my dear students. Dear students, I hope you all are in the best of your health and taking good care of yourselves. Students, we are going to start with our English literature class today. And I request you all to please open your literature textbook, that is Honeysuckle, and open page number 45, as we are going to begin with a very interesting chapter, that is an Indian American women in space, Kalpana Chawla. Students, you all must have heard about Kalpana Chawla. She was one of the most famous and renowned astronaut. She was in 1997 an Indian American. Kalpana Chawla was part of the international crew aboard the US space shuttle, that is Columbia, and she had, brought laurels to the country by becoming the first woman who was born in India to go into space. Sadly, the second mission in Columbia ended in a very great tragedy, and she had lost her life in that. So before we actually start with the reading and explanation of the lesson, let us know the aims and objectives. Dear students, the main objectives are to enable the students to develop their vocabulary, to acquaint them with space and spaceship, to enable them to understand the difference between an aeroplane and a spaceship. Now let us look at the word meanings and have a detailed description of the meanings along with the part of speech and their sentences. The first word here is a group of word, or you may say a phrase, aeronautical engineering. Aerospace engineering is the primary field of engineering concerned with the development of aircraft and spacecraft. The advent of aircraft brought with it aeronautical engineering. Naval Aeronautical Engineering Academy, the national key universities. Then is altitude. Altitude is the height above sea level of a location. This word is used both as an adjective as well as a noun. The plane took off and climbed to cruising altitude. Astronaut is a noun. A person who travels in a spacecraft or spaceship is an astronaut. The astronaut was welcomed with joyous, resounding acclaim. Kalpana Chawla was one of the most famous astronauts of India. Blast off is a verb. To leave the ground, to take off from the ground. The rocket is due to blast off at 3 o'clock. The rocket will blast off sometime tomorrow. Break is a verb in first form, something that makes something else slow down or stop. The government must try to put a brake on inflation. Make sure you put the emergency brake on the car if you park on a hill. Disbelief is an adjective, or it is sometimes used as an abstract noun also. The feeling of not believing somebody or something. Disbelief made her look twice to ensure her eyes hadn't gone as crazy as her thoughts. Frontiers is a noun, the limit between what we do and do not know. Scientific research is constantly pushing back the frontiers of our knowledge about the world. Look at some more words in this slide. Inspiration, which is an abstract noun, a feeling, person, or thing that makes you want to do something or gives you exciting new ideas. The beauty of the mountains was a great source of inspiration to the writer. She had a sudden inspiration. Launchpad is a noun, a special platform from which a spacecraft is sent into space. Launchpad is holding frequent ideation sessions to keep our pipeline of ideas topped up. Sleepless is an adjective, which means prolonged hours without sleep. A sleepless night and a busy day at work did little for her disposition. Survive, it's a verb in the first form, to remain alive or in existence, or you can say to live, to exist. She could survive on the ample amounts of supplies the Amarop's facilities contained if she moved from facility to facility towards the west. Take off, it's a verb, or you can say it's a phrase. The moment when an aircraft leaves the ground and starts to fly is termed as takeoff. The plane is ready for takeoff. The burglars took off before the police arrived. Unlike, adjective, in contrast to, different from, or you can say something which is not similar. He is extremely ambitious, unlike me. It was so quiet and peaceful, unlike my night. Now, dear students, before we proceed, we must know that what is our space and where do the astronauts go in the spacecraft or the spaceship. Space has always been a mystery to the human beings. We did not know much about the space a few years ago, but nowadays many countries are making successful expedition to the space. Now, facts about Dr. Chawla. Kalpana Chawla was born in Karnal, India. Dr. Chawla enjoys flying, hiking, backpacking, and reading. She holds certificated flight instructor's license and commercial pilot's licenses for single and multi-engine land airplanes and single-engine seaplanes, instrument rating and private glider. She enjoys flying aerobatics and tailwheel airplanes, flying, hiking, backpacking, and reading. The one in the center, the fourth position from left and right, is the lady with a beautiful smile, Kalpana Chawla. Let's look at the introductory part of the lesson. This lesson throws light upon a tragic incident that had never happened before. It was when an Indian-American Kalpana Chawla, the magic woman, was part of the international crew aboard in the US space shuttle named Columbia, becoming the first woman born in India to go into space. She brought so much laurels to the country. Now the reading and explanation of the chapter begins. Kalpana Chawla said that she never dreamt as a child in Karnal that she would cross the frontiers of space. It was enough that her parents allowed her to attend engineering college after she graduated from Tagore School. Dear students, I request you all to please write down the date, day, and classwork on the top of page number 45, from where the chapter actually begins, and solve the blanks provided to you in which you are supposed to write the meanings of the difficult words already discussed in the previous slides. Let us turn the page and move towards page number 46, wherein clipping from the newspaper is given to you, which is a news report, which states a tragedy in space, US space shuttle Columbia breaks into flames. Students, you all are requested to go through this page or this entire report carefully and note down all the important dates, the events, and the names, and register them somewhere in your practice notebook. Now, let us continue with the reading part. You are requested again to put the slashes after each pause and underline the difficult spellings. After a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering Against great opposition from her father, she went for a master's degree to the United States of America. She later earned her PhD in aerospace engineering. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian American woman astronaut to blast off from the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, Florida, and participated in a successful mission in space. Her family from India cheered along with staff at the Kennedy Space Center as they watched the Columbia lift off. Kalpana was born in Karnal, Haryana, but she was a naturalized US citizen as she was married to flight instructor Jane Perry Harrison. Besides being an astronaut, she was licensed to fly single and multi-engine land airplanes, single-engine seaplanes and gliders. She was also a certified flight instructor. After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana began to consider another challenge, applying to NASA's Space Shuttle program. She was first hired as a research scientist at NASA. In 1994, she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. Dear students, you all need to find out the meaning of NASA yourselves. When asked what it was like being a woman in her field, she replied, I really never ever thought while pursuing my studies or doing anything else that I was a woman or a person from a small city or a different country. I pretty much had my dreams like anyone else and followed them. And people who were around me, fortunately, always encouraged me and said, if that's what you want to do, carry on. Carry on means go ahead. Kalpana's first space mission in the Space Shuttle Columbia was 15 days, 16 hours, and 34 minutes long. It's a very much valuable information provided to you. During this time, she went around the Earth 252 times, traveling 10.45 million kilometers. Isn't it a great distance? The crew included a Japanese and a Ukrainian astronaut. The crew performed experiments such as pollinating plants to observe food growth in space and test for making stronger metals and faster computer chips, all for a price tag of about $56 million. On the Saturday night, when the news about the Columbia disaster broke, there was shock and disbelief. The town of Karnal spent a sleepless night as thousands of households stayed glued to their television sets. Glued means they remained, very close and they got stuck up with the television sets just to have the information of the, entire crew who were going on a mission. So they, glued to their television sets in the hope that Kalpana and the crew had somehow survived. A journalist wrote, she was a heroine. It takes enormous ability to become an astronaut. You need to know a lot about everything from biology to astrophysics to aeronautical engineering. In this age of super specialization, you must have encyclopedic knowledge to be an astronaut. Her achievement is awe-inspiring. For millions of young Indians, the story of Kalpana Chawla, a girl from a small town who touched the skies, had become an inspiration. In a message that she sent from aboard the space shuttle, aboard means when she was already on board. She was there in the space shuttle, Columbia. To the students of a college in Chandigarh, Kalpana said, the path from dreams to success does exist. May you have the vision to find it, the courage to get onto it. Wishing you a great journey. Dear students, you all are requested to please underline these important lines and learn them. There will surely be many who start off on this journey to fulfill their dreams. It was a message from Kalpana Chawla to her students who were already studying in the college in Chandigarh. Now, the summary of the chapter. As a child, Kalpana never dreamt of space travel. It was not sufficient for her to graduate from an engineering college. After graduating as an aeronautical engineer from Punjab Engineering College, she went for a master's degree to the United States in spite of her father's opposition. Later, she did her PhD in the subject. PhD is the doctorate of philosophy. She had the pride of being the first Indian-born American women astronaut to blast off from Florida and be a part of the successful space mission. Kalpana was born in Karnal, Haryana, but was a naturalized US citizen. She married a flight instructor, Jean Perry Harrison. Apart from being an astronaut, she was also trained to fly single and multi-engine land airplanes, single seaplanes and gliders. She was a certified flight instructor. After qualifying as a pilot, she decided to apply to NASA's Space Shuttle program and was selected for training as an astronaut. She was an extraordinary woman and thought differently and was an enthusiastic and optimistic. Her first space mission was 16 days long. During this time, she traveled 10.45 million kilometers in 252 orbits. Orbits are the fixed paths wherein a comet or meteorite or the planets revolve or the space shuttle was moving. The crew had 7 members and they conducted 80 experiments altogether. They also checked if food could be grown in space, how stronger metals and faster computer chips could be created. The news of Columbia disaster made everyone grief-stricken. A shock wave was spread everywhere. A journalist called her a heroine. She had enormous potential and wide information, encyclopedic knowledge of each subject. Her achievements were actually marvelous. She created history and became an inspiration for everyone. Her life is a testimony that dreams can get success. The only thing we need to make them a reality is courage and vision. So dear students, this was all about the summary of the chapter. Hope you all have understood the lesson and you are going to revise it, recapitulate it by learning the word meanings. Do not forget to remember the important facts, dates, names, and the experiments and the entire information of the space mission. Let's have a discussion about assignment number 1. You need to use a dictionary to do the task below. Find the meanings of the given words and phrases. Naturalized US citizen, space, frontiers of space, abort, liftoff, how is it different from takeoff, and crew. This entire information you need to fill in on page number 45 of your textbook. So thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. Do learn the meanings, complete the back exercises in the book, learn the facts and the question answers, and stay happy, stay tuned. God bless you all.